Amidst a war-torn landscape filled with mud, rubble, and constantly shifting front lines, Ukrainian border guard UAV pilots from the Phoenix unit once again demonstrated how fiber-optic FPV drone technology is a nightmare for Russian troops on the battlefield. The latest compilation of footage shows a series of precision strikes on enemy infantry, transport vehicles, and even weapon positions, both on the move and while attempting to hide in stationary positions. Each attack begins with quiet aerial reconnaissance. From low altitude, the Phoenix FPV drones quickly follow trenches, dirt roads, and temporary shelters used by Russian troops. In one scene, a group of Russian infantry rushing through an open area suddenly becomes a target. The drone charges at high speed before crashing directly into the center of the formation, creating a loud explosion that breaks the ranks and spreads panic. In the next attack, the Phoenix operator locks onto a military transport vehicle traveling along a rear logistics route. The low-speed FPV drone maneuvers around trees and obstacles before striking the vehicle's side directly. A massive explosion immediately halted the vehicle's movement, while debris and black smoke billowed into the air, signaling the crippling of enemy supply lines in that sector. Other footage shows how even Russian troops attempting to take cover in stationary positions were not spared. Several camouflaged weapons and military equipment near damaged buildings were discovered through detailed aerial observation. The FPV drone then sharply descended toward the target and exploded directly over the weapon position, destroying equipment previously thought safe from direct attack. The drone pursued enemy soldiers running across an open hillside under a blue sky. Evasive maneuvers proved futile, and a spectacular final explosion completed the sequence, sending debris flying and bluish-purple smoke blanketing the area. In the watery and muddy area, several enemy personnel were seen moving near the debris. The drone glided low over puddles and debris, and "active" sounded in the overlay, signaling the final attack mode. The explosion occurred in the center of the group, destroying the position and forcing the remaining personnel to take cover or die. One of the most dramatic moments is when an enemy soldier runs down a barren hill trying to find cover. The drone chases behind at high speed, the stabilized fiber-optic image allowing perfect tracking, and the explosion occurs right next to the target, knocking the soldier out and ending the threat. Meanwhile, the clarity of the visuals allows for accurate target identification even in complex environments. The key advantage of fiber-optic drones is clearly visible throughout the video. Unlike conventional drones, which are susceptible to electronic signal interference, the Phoenix drones remain stable and fully connected until the last second before impact. This allows the operator to make precise course corrections, even against rapidly moving targets on the battlefield. In some of the most dramatic moments, the drones are seen hunting Russian infantry as they try to escape through trees and rubble. However, their escape routes are constantly monitored from the air. Overall, with aggressive maneuvers and high accuracy, the Phoenix drones strike one enemy position after another, demonstrating how modern warfare is now dominated by speed of reaction and small-scale air dominance. This compilation of operations further demonstrates the increasingly effective use of fiber-optic FPV drones by the Ukrainian Phoenix unit to hunt down targets on the front lines. Each strike not only destroys the target, but also damages the morale and logistics of enemy troops. From logistics vehicles to hidden infantry positions, there is almost no safe space for Russian troops when the buzzing sound of drones begins to be heard over the battlefield. At the same time, Ukrainian artillery crews from the 24th Brigade have turned a captured Russian self-propelled gun against its former operators during the ongoing battles for Chasiv Yar. The brigade recently released footage showing the Soviet-designed 2S5 Jatsint-S system firing at Russian positions near the contested city. According to the brigade, the 152mm artillery system was seized earlier on another section of the front line and later restored for Ukrainian service. Instead of being scrapped or used for spare parts, the heavy self-propelled gun was integrated into combat operations and deployed back into action against Russian forces. Ukrainian fighters gave the captured artillery piece the nickname Kraken, symbolizing its new role in Ukrainian hands. Brigade representatives noted that the weapon is now working against its former owners. The released combat footage shows the artillery crew preparing the gun, loading ammunition, and firing multiple rounds toward Russian positions. The scenes underline the continued intensity of fighting around Chasiv Yar, one of the key hotspots in the east of Ukraine, where Russian troops have been attempting to advance for months. The 2S5 Jatsint-S is a long-range Soviet-era self-propelled artillery system developed for deep-fire missions. Armed with a powerful 152mm cannon, the platform is capable of striking targets at ranges exceeding several dozen kilometers, depending on the type of ammunition used. Despite its age, the system remains a dangerous asset because of its firepower and reach. However, fighters from the Primary unit carried out 5 precision attacks against Russian railway logistics targets on the temporarily occupied peninsula. In a recent report, fighters from the Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Primary Special Unit carried out a series of precision strikes against Russian railway logistics infrastructure in Crimea, targeting locomotives and fuel transport assets used to sustain Moscow's military operations. Footage from the operation was released by Ukraine's Defense Intelligence, and according to the agency, the operation took place in May 2026 and involved 5 separate strikes on railway targets. The attacks were conducted while Russian freight trains were actively moving, increasing both the operational complexity and the potential impact on enemy logistics. The primary targets were locomotives used to transport military equipment, ammunition, and fuel supplies for Russian forces operating in the south of Ukraine and temporarily occupied territories. One fuel tanker car was also reportedly hit during the operation, potentially disrupting the delivery of critical resources to frontline units. Striking railway infrastructure has become an increasingly important component of Ukraine's broader strategy to degrade Russian logistics. Rail transport remains one of the backbone systems for sustaining large-scale military operations, particularly for moving heavy equipment and fuel over long distances. As previously reported, Ukrainian border guard units have disrupted Russian assault on the North Slobozhansky axis, eliminating several key assets, including a modern electronic warfare system. The State Border Guard Service reported the operation on May 6th, releasing combat footage that documents
Орудие!